Welcome everybody to the second to last day of sessions for Devtoberfest. It's amazing that a month has gone by, and we on this day we are devoting our time to SAP Work Zone. I'm really happy we have a day to devote to that. I feel like Work Zone sometimes gets overlooked in all of the hype for AppGyver and process automation. And I'm happy to welcome Florian and Yumna in their beautiful no-code, low-code hoodies. And why don't you introduce yourselves?
Florian, please go ahead.
All righty, yeah. Hi, good morning, everyone, and good day from wherever you're joining us. Happy to be here. This is Florian. I'm part of the product management team of Business Technology Platform at SAP, specifically focusing on the area of digital experience, that including Launchpad Service and Work Zone. Really happy to be here for a couple of sessions today, and then over to you, Yumna.
Hello, everyone. I'm Yumna Abasi, and I'm a product manager at the product enablement and communications team for focusing on digital experience services. And I'm very happy to be a co-host with Florian and happy to be here with all of you as well.
Thank you so much for coming. We'll start in just a moment. I want to first talk about the other sessions that we'll be having later this day. So in about an hour, Florian and Yumna will follow up the session talking about UI integration cards, so the ability to add business data directly to the work site, and so users don't have to go into the apps to get all that information. Later today, Rupam will be back to talk about how to take those UI integration cards and enhance them. So for example, to make them interact with each other, changes on one affect changes on the other, or how to make them react to changes in locale of the user. And finally, the Rupam will give another session later on about how to really customize work sites, how to build widgets that business users can add to their sites, really customize the whole experience. So, but before we can do that, we have to understand a little bit more about Work Zone. So now I'll hand it over to Florian and Yumna. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Daniel. So I will be mostly hosting this session. Florian will be there for the Q&A with us. This is a very, I would say, a basic session. So let's start with, okay, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, and are you able to see the presentation?
Yes. The right screen, you're good to go.
Okay, perfect. So let's start the presentation with, firstly, what it is. The presentation today is about get started with SAP Work Zone, and me and Florian are your hosts for this session, and it is a very basic session. So that means that I'll be walking you through what SAP Work Zone is. Then we will be jumping into a bit of the next parts of the session. So starting with the first thing, the business technology platform that is behind all of this, behind what we talked about, AppGyver, process automation, everything comes under business technology platform. So I want to start with that, how Work Zone fits into the whole story, how digital experience services, they fit into the whole story. And then moving on to SAP Work Zone, the solution overview, some of the use cases, SAP Work Zone's short demo. I would say that's a 10-minute demo, but it's very interesting just to show you how it feels like, how our solution feels like. And then finally the Q&A, which will be hosted by me and Florian together. So let's jump right into it. So business technology platform, starting off with this image. This is how we usually explain business technology platform. This is SAP BTP is a unified business-centric open platform that enables focus on solving business needs and delivering outcomes by creating personalized experiences that instantly work with SAP applications, building faster with business content and context to meet change with agility, and lastly, running with confidence on trusted enterprise-grade platform. Where we lie in this whole picture is here on where you see business technology platform, and it says app development in the beginning. That is where DX services are basically are a part of. So I will show you now a bit of drilling more into the application development part. So application development and digital experience, where when we talk about digital experience, it comes more into the consumption part, although below we have built and innovate with low code, no code. So that's where we talk about AppGyver. And then we have code first approach. That is where we use Business Application Studio. But when we talk about the consumption, it is SAP Launchpad service and SAP Work Zone that comes into the picture. That is what the session is focused on. SAP Work Zone offers an additional solution that goes even a step further to provide a complete integrated digital workspace for employees. So SAP Launchpad comes with, let's go to the next slide, where we will now start talking about digital experience services on the whole, and then I can show you where SAP Launchpad service and SAP Work Zone lie under the digital experience services. So we start with the vision. Our vision is to increase productivity by intelligently providing access to applications, processes, information anywhere on any device. So this is what we want to do. But how we can do this? Here is the picture. Here is what we show to everyone to explain our services more in detail, how digital experience services cover SAP Work Zone and SAP Launchpad service by creating engaging digital experience to increase user productivity by intelligently providing access to applications, processes, and information anywhere on any device. As you can see, SAP Launchpad service is the foundation. And then when we go one level up is the SAP Work Zone, which are the more premium capabilities. So that means when we have SAP Work Zone, you automatically have an SAP Launchpad service as a foundation already in it. So this means when I will show you in the demo in my second part of this session, I will also show you how this actually works and how it actually feels like having SAP Work Zone as SAP Launchpad service as a part of SAP Work Zone. And what it gives you is desktop experience as well as mobile experience with SAP Mobile Sort and also SAP Work Zone Mobile. So moving on, SAP Work Zone solution overview and use cases. So it is good that before we jump into the demo, we have a look at some of the typical use cases of SAP Work Zone. And it is also, I think, a good idea that we first look, before even that, we look into what the solution is. So SAP Work Zone enables you to build a digital workplace solution. It increases your productivity engagement. It centralizes your access to relevant business application, processes, information, and communication in a unified entry point that users can access from any device. So what this brings as the benefits, and then what are the key capabilities? Let's talk about that a bit. When we talk about benefits, so it empowers business users and key users with the easy to use self-services for decentralized content and page building. It blends business data and unstructured data. It also engages with users in an interactive, we have workspaces, we have forums, we have knowledge base. You'll have a look at all of that later in the session, so don't be curious. And then we also have support users with it supports users with smart and guided experiences. And lastly, it utilizes content packages and templates for specific industries and line of businesses. And how are all of these benefits, how is SAP Work Zone providing us with these benefits is through the key capabilities. The capabilities is that it provides with central access to apps, tasks, notifications, information, and communication. It also provides a very seamless entry point to SAP and non-party apps, and also an integration to them, and then an extensible framework for development, customization, and branding. And now the interesting part is some of the typical use cases of SAP Work Zone. So you see 6 typical use cases that are listed here. I'll go through them one by one just to give you some more information about the solution before we jump into our the demo time. Firstly is UX integration. So SAP Work Zone allows you to create a common entry across multiple SAP S/4HANA systems. You can also centralize access to applications to create a hybrid landscape that includes a mix of SAP and non-party applications. Then you can also, the second use case can be enablement and learning, when SAP Work Zone can be used to create an integrating and engaging place for learning focused experiences. If we talk about an example, it can be employee onboarding, for example. And then when we see self-services and support, when we're talking about creation of a central knowledge base and support portal for employees, of course, SAP Work Zone can be one of the solutions, the solution to go for. The fourth very interesting one is SAP Enterprise Portal transition. So this is the case when your company intranet or your supplier portal is an on-premise solution and it is not geared towards citizen developers. In this situation, SAP Digital Experience Services, so Work Zone and Launchpad, they enable you to add an engagement layer in terms of workspaces, page builder, and much more, and which is based on a modern cloud-based solution. And then extensions for apps and audiences. So if you want to distribute extensions after development, a harmonized and centralized access point is essential for users to conveniently do that. And SAP Work Zone enables this. And it could be for a specific division, business unit, or even across the whole company. And the last one, the most interesting one, I would say, is the digital workplace and next gen portal. So the next generation digital workplace that SAP Work Zone provides. So for someone who is looking for, who is thinking bigger about a bigger transformation of a complete next generation portal or a digital workplace experience, SAP solution is what they can leverage. This is a combination of all what I've talked about, all the use cases that I've talked about until now, and everything comes together, giving you the next generation portal. So now it is the time that we see how this portal actually looks like. So I will quickly go and change my screen. I will need a second for that. Florian, can you see my screen right now?
We can see the presentation at the moment.
Okay, perfect. So then I will have to stop sharing the presentation, which is okay. So now we will quickly jump into the demo, which is the more interesting part, I would say.
Yeah, we can see your screen now. You can
Okay,
go on to...
perfect. So, so let's start with, so we are now inside SAP Work Zone and how it actually looks and feels like. We will be seeing, going through it one by one. I want to start with telling you what is a home. Here you see it says home, and here it says workspace. So there's a lot of these are a lot of the capabilities of SAP Work Zone. So we will start off with seeing what is SAP Work Zones, what is a home page, and what is a workspace. So a home page is what all users see by default when they open their SAP Work Zone. So where I am right now, this is SAP Work Zone's homepage. When a user, they come online, they can click on either this over here. You see this SAP logo here, so your company's logo here. So you can navigate to your homepage using this logo. And then there are workspaces. So what are workspaces? Let's quickly click on my workspace to start with. It's loading just a second. Yes. So workspaces are the most important building block of SAP Work Zone, which enables various use cases, and they have a broad range of features, including content management, forms, flexible page design. And there are 4 types of workspaces that I will be showing you. So right now I'm on my workspace. So this is the personal dashboard, the personal workspace that only you can see, and you cannot invite anyone to this workspace. So this is something that you see only I will be able to see, being a part of the being my workspace. And then there are more workspaces, the other types of workspaces. If I go here, and if I see, so here you see workspaces, I can go to view all workspaces to quickly show you how all the workspaces look like. Here, the favorite workspaces, my favorite workspaces will show up here. And then if I go up, down, all the workspaces, they show up here. And then if I want to create a new workspace, I can just click on this button. And yes, so now here comes in the other 3 types of workspaces that we have. The first one being the second one actually being the public workspaces that every full access user in the company have access to this workspace. Then if you create a private workspace, only the SAP Work Zone, this is a workspace that only participants can be invited to this workspace, and they cannot join with if they're not given the invitation. And lastly is an external workspace, which is basically, it is a workspace that is used for engaging with external parties and like key suppliers, partners. So let's talk about creating a new workspace. If I type, so we have, just to mention here, we also have, you can create a workspace only by clicking on and choosing one of the templates we have here. So it's, you have an out of the box workspace templates to ease the creation of workspaces. So you can just select one of the template as well. If I write here, process, for example, I select my option, apply public, private, or external, and then we can write a short description, and we click on create. And this is how easy it is to already have a workspace for yourself. So let's move on and go back. And now I will show you, let's go deep into what I was talking about before, the page editor. So if I want to see the page editor, I will use this page editor as on my own workspace. So we can already publish it as well as soon as I edit the page. When you go here, you see a pencil on this corner, which is your access to the page editor. So if you click this, now you're on my workspace and you're here, and you can easily edit your, this will be like your no code page builder experience of SAP Work Zone now. The page editor provides a grid-based layout with up to 6 columns and flexible number of rows, and you can play around with it. If you see here, it says design tips. If you click on this, you will also be able to see page designer tips that can be used. You can move the widgets. You can play around with widgets, with columns, with rows. And now we will do some of that to see how it looks like. Let's go down and see where we want to add our first widget. I would say, let's do it here underneath the first one. Just click on add widget. So when you click on add widget, you see a number of widgets and tools that show up. So there are a lot of a wide range of cards that you can select from. There are standard tools, which are as basic as multimedia, videos, images. Then there are more, when we go down, there's more like filters and lists. Also, you can include some documents, content and documents on your workspace. You can also use this for other workspaces, the same page editor for other workspaces. So let's start with doing something, as I said, very basic. So when we go here, you click on multimedia. You can add a link to a multimedia. So I will quickly paste a video here. And when I do, so that's a video for SAP TechEd coming up next month. So when I click OK, and yes, you see the video is already here. You have the video as a widget on your workspace now. Let's do something more. Let's go here and we can try adding, let's do it here. So to make it look a bit more prettier, let's add a widget. What can we do? Maybe let's put, it would be nice if you come in the morning, open your workspace and you see your notifications as a summary on top. Sounds like a nice idea, right? So let's click on that and see how it goes. Wow, that was really simple. You already see that your notifications, they show up here. You can click on view all notifications. It shows the requests, social updates, information, invitations, tasks. So that was basically everything at one place. That's super exciting. Let's go ahead and add a few more widgets to our, let's go here maybe. I would say let's add a widget here. We can, let's add, what do you think about adding a workspace? That sounds interesting, right? So let's go and add a link to another widget. So we can search for our already existing workspaces. So basically I'm going to write, there's a workspace, already existing workspace as parental leave. So when I search for that, it shows up here. I select that. Then we have an onboarding workspace as well. I can select that onboarding workspace. I click OK. And then you see the link to these is added to your, to the top. So I've added this right at the top of my workspace. We can also play around a bit more. I would say, let's add something. Let's try to add a few. Yes, let's add something here. Maybe, of course, everything is up to you. You can add things as you want your workspace to look like. So this is why you are the designer. So let's add an image. That's also one of the basic tools. I will go here to select an image. So maybe you want to add a picture of your team. Who knows, if you like them that much, maybe you can add that. Maybe you can add a widget and again, an image. Maybe you can add also from here, you can add SAP logo. So if you like your company that much as well. Okay, so now I think I'm good to go. I like how you can also maybe make it a bit smaller, bigger from here. And if you're convinced with how your workspace is looking like, you can go here. You can save it as a draft from here. That is one option. The second option is that you publish it right away. So then it will be available for the users of your company. So that is for other workspaces. But right now, as I'm in my own workspace, it is not a problem for me. For me, it's okay to publish it right away and show you guys how it looks like. So it's publishing. Just a second so that I can quickly show you how the workspace looks like now. So now we're here, and yes, so we added a picture, we added SAP logo, we added links to some of the workspaces. The notifications are also here. Also the video from TechEd is also showing up right here. So everything at one place. I can quickly also show you, if I click on this workspace link that I added, it will take me to the workspace itself, and I can look for anything, all the information that I want. It's right here. So this was my short demo. One last thing. We're running short of time, but I'll quickly show you the applications launchpad, which is also one of the important parts of Work Zone. As I said earlier, I've discussed that a lot, so it would be a nice idea to also show it quickly. So launchpad service is included and is inbuilt in SAP Work Zone. So when you click on applications, you can launch, you see the launchpad here, and it allows access to business applications from one place from SAP, as you see here, SAP SuccessFactors and non-SAP systems. So you can also see an external link here. So you can access all your applications at one place. So that is also a very interesting part of Work Zone. So I think I'm done with my short demo. I will stop the screen share and get back here and see if we have any questions.
Sure.
We still have 4 minutes.
I have a couple of questions, but there was one in the chat that said, can we add AppGyver apps to the work site, to the Work Zone?
I'll comment on this one. So as of today, we cannot yet do this, but this is something that we're, of course, already actively looking into. So stay tuned, I guess, for that.
What if I deploy my app as a web app, HTML5 web app to BTP? Couldn't I get it into the Work Zone?
That is a great point. Yes, that will indeed be an option. So if you have the app itself, you can either embed it using the web content card that we have, or of course also reference or link to it from, for instance, the shown launchpad that you just demoed a second ago. Yeah.
Okay. More general question I have is, we showed building the Work Zone or the workspaces. Did you represent like a user who's just building their personal workspace, or did you represent somebody who is creating workspaces for the organization or the team?
So I'll take that. So what I was showing was building my own workspace. So when I went into the page editor, as I said, it was my own workspace. So I was building it for my own self. I cannot even invite people to that workspace. That is for my personal use. That is why I put like a logo there. I put anything there. I just published it right away because it was for my personal use. But then if you look at other workspaces, for example, I showed like a parental leave workspace, which was more like a company workspace. When I'm making some changes there, if I'm the owner, it will be, we can use the same page editor for editing, but the demo was for editing my workspace.
Okay, and is that true for like the entire Work Zone? Could I create like a Work Zone, and when somebody logs in, this is what they would see with all the workspaces and the pages and all that kind of stuff? Not just one workspace.
Right. Yeah. So I'll take that one. So essentially, yes. So what is shown to the users when they log in is essentially the combination of the different home pages, workspaces, and other content created in the system, and a role assigned to them in general. And then one of the key value adds from Work Zone is indeed the idea that it can be decentrally owned. So you can have one group of people maintaining certain set of workspaces, and then another team of people maintaining certain home pages, and then yet another business unit maintaining some other workspaces. And ultimately, all of that combined is what creates the Work Zone experience.
Okay, very good. I
understand. Not just one persona that does it. It's really intended to be owned by a broader set of people or teams.
And that whole role-based component is part of Work Zone?
Mm-hmm.
I can build new roles. I can assign those roles.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Obviously, depending on my role, can I?
Indeed, yeah. Yeah, okay. It can be integrated without going into too much the details here, but essentially, yes, we have a native role concept so that you can, for instance, dynamically create based on different profile attributes. So local roles in Work Zone. And you can, of course, also integrate with your existing identity management setup. If you already have roles in an existing SAP or non-SAP identity management system, you can connect those as well and then rely on those roles in addition or on instead. Yeah.
Okay. I had one more question, but some comments came in. When trying to create a new workspace, I can only select private or public. No option external is shown in my instance.
Yes, so by default, this option is disabled. So you will need to basically actively enable it under the administration settings, under the feature enablement features section. I think I've seen the comment. I'll put the exact help guide in a response to that comment then. But essentially, bottom line, you need to actively enable it. Yeah.
Okay, and then there was a question about the slideshow widget. How can I add a file to the folder such that I can select it as a presentation for the slideshow widget?
Yes, so that depends on where the slideshow widget is being used. Essentially, the slideshow, I'm assuming it's for the purpose of this demo, either into my workspace or the homepage, there's always a dedicated content area behind the scenes. And you can basically access this from the same admin menu where Yumna was also showing the edit menu. So there's also a content button. And this brings you to the content repository where you then upload this, this file. And in a workspace, same deal. You have a content repository, you upload the files, like a PowerPoint, and then you can use it for a slideshow.
Okay, and there was one more question, which I'll combine with my question. The question on the chat was workspace. Do workspaces replace Launchpad because they have more features or than the other? I'll add it more generally. We've heard of there were portal sites and Launchpad sites, and now there's Work Zone. So and we still have Work Zone, but we have Work Zone and we still have Launchpad. So what is the meaning of all those things? Is portal sites now Work Zone? Can you just make explain the whole combination?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. So I think there's multiple aspects worth covering here, and essentially it ties back to the slide that Yumna has shown with the two services sort of building on top of another. So in our current portfolio, we do have two offerings. We have the Launchpad service and we have SAP Work Zone. Essentially, they are a combination and an evolution of different digital experience or portal-based solutions that we've had in the past. And essentially, they are both here to stay with dedicated use cases, but we're bringing them much closer together. So this is already shared in other places. We're working heavily on harmonizing those two services, Launchpad service and Work Zone, to truly have a unified solution offering with a superset of capabilities. So then you may ask, well, when do I use what? Essentially, it boils down to desired use cases, desired experience, and a feature set. As the name will suggest, you will want Launchpad service, which is our standard offering. It is more application-centric, and in a nutshell, it can be summarized as it is presenting user information to me as a user. I don't work with other users in the system. I have no visibility, no interaction, no engagement with them. It's a productivity tool for myself. I'm presented with my apps, my approvals, my tasks, you name it. A Launchpad on BTP. And then if you're going to take this and add a level of user interactivity, web content, user engagement, working with another to that application entry access point, then Work Zone is the way to go, which basically builds on top of that Launchpad experience. And it is not legally or technically speaking a successor of the Freestyle portal site to answer your question specifically, but it makes use of a number of the Launchpad and other related BTP technologies for that.
Very good. But portal sites doesn't exist anymore, right? Portal sites.
Correct. The cloud portal service on Neo and Cloud Foundry has reached end of sales. Correct.
Right. Okay. Very good. I don't see any more questions. So I just want to thank you for being here and making that presentation. I want to remind everybody that in about a half hour, there'll be a follow-up session that will delve much more specifically into how to bring the business data into the Work Zone with integration cards. So really come back for that. So thanks, Florian and Yumna.
Thank you, everyone.
And have a good
day.
day.
Thank you, Daniel. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.